If that's how the path you want to go down, defend everyone. Don't just be a hero for certain people. That's my point.
But over the past few days, he's obviously gone rogue. I don't know. I'm still waiting out, and hopefully it works out.
I am here for people being put in their place. I am here for people that are acting disrespectful being told off because I don't think it's appropriate. I am here for Tyreek letting Mitch know who he is and about himself. And I'm also here for, Whitney giving Maddie a piece of her mind during recoupling. But hey, it is what it is. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome back to my channel. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island, Season 10, Episode 18. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, comment, and turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. Oh my god, I don't know how to feel about Scott and Catherine. He does seem smitten though. He seemed excited after the kiss, the way he was sort of trying to sort of caress her as they were walking down the stairs. So I really hope he's that into her as he makes out. He went to speak to the guys, Catherine went to speak to the girls, and everyone eventually found out that they had kissed. I don't know. I'm a bit skeptical about guys going after Catherine, given what Zachariah did. So I hope Scott proves me wrong. And then eventually, Ty went to confirm with Scott, and Scott said the kiss was good, and Ty had to bring it to Leah to make sure, he knew what was going on. So he speaks to Leah and sort of asks her, "How do you feel about Scott and Catherine?" And she apparently wasn't aware because Ty first asked Montel, and Montel said, "Well, it is what it is. I don't care." And then eventually Ty asked Leah, and Leah was like, "I didn't know they kissed." And they went, "Oh, they just kissed. They were up on the terrace." And it's like, that's another guy that has used Leah again and then left her for somebody else. At this point, I think she needs to focus on the bombshells that come in, and she needs to leave these guys that are in couplings, because she was with Ty. Ty really wasn't in it with her. He was just flirting with her. Then she went on to Sammy. Sammy did the same thing. And now she's with Scott. And it seems Scott has done the same thing. And I wonder who's next. So the Islanders play Never Ever Ever. And oh my God, the revelations. What do I say? Maddie's a dark horse. He's kissed his teacher and he's dated an older woman. And it's like, whoa, I wouldn't have believed that about you. Hey, it is what it is. And then Zachariah cheated. And everybody hammered on him. I don't know why Leah and Jess took it upon themselves to sort of target him. I don't know whether it's because they've been cheated on in the past, or they just felt some type of way about Zachariah, so, because of the way he treated Catherine. They really took him to town. It was bad. They had to be called out. I didn't like that. And also, they asked about the threesome question, and Scott and obviously Ty owned up to it. And Ty actually did 2 threesomes, and it's like, oh my god. It was a light-hearted game. I wish they had left it at that. I wish the girls hadn't got angry and sort of started going into attack mode, because at least by being light-hearted, they would have found out the red flags in these guys, because they would have been open to express themselves and say everything that needed to be said. But anyway, I don't know. So after the game, Ty pulled Ella for a chat, and I like the way he handled it. I don't know whether it's because Zachariah is his friend, but he's had a conversation with Ella and told her that, you came across a bit confrontational with Zach. I don't think that was appropriate. And Ella, on her part, owned up and said, I have been cheated on, so this is why maybe I went that hard on him. And it was nice that Ty was able to get her to see that maybe she was wrong and she needs to apologize. So I appreciate her for immediately going across to Zachariah and sort of apologizing for her actions and explaining the reason behind her actions as to why she behaved the way she behaved, because she was triggered because somebody has cheated on her before. And for Jess to come running across the villa to sort of say, I'm involved in this conversation because I was making the once a cheater, always a cheater comment. Zachariah was man enough to accept it, and he said he doesn't want that to go into Molly's head. I think he's looking at the long-term plan, because if it continues being, he cheated, then chances of Molly recoupling with him are very slim. He says he really likes Molly. He wants to get to know Molly. I don't know about their connection, because we barely see their conversations. And when we do, it's just superficial stuff. So I don't know how that will go. And then the producers are very sneaky. They saw that the viewers were liking Whitney and Maddie, and suddenly Maddie's expressing interest in Leah. That does not make sense to me. That's producer driven, because even Leah was shocked. She didn't expect that. And she was very sort of understanding. I think because of the way that told her he wanted to continue to get to know her, and then he went and kissed Catherine. She then asked him, you kissed Whitney, and I thought things were moving great for you and Whitney. So what's changed? What's made you decide that you want to get to know me? And I know you're someone who's very well thought out. So what is it about me? He went, oh, you're a good speaker. And it's like, what do you mean? Do you mean Whitney's not a good speaker because she always yells and stuff? I didn't get it. I think the producer sent him to go and speak to Leah because they realized that if Maddie and Whitney continue to be where they are, the fans are going to grasp onto them. As I said before with Richie and Andre, I'm worried that this is how they're going to get rid of Whitney and um, Maddie, in the sense that they're going to split them up. And then once they split them up, one of them is going to be eliminated and then the other one is going to be eliminated, because I still maintain that the producer's favorite is Molly and Zachariah. So the producers don't want anything that overshadows those two people. And it seems the relationship between Whitney and Maddie is starting to overshadow that. And I think this is why he's been told that he needs to sort of try and have chats with Leah. Oh my God. Mitch will not kill me. I swear to God. Why is he involving himself in the sort of drama between uh, Ella, Jess, and Zachariah? What has that got to do with him? The fact that he's confronting Ella to say, why did you make those comments about Zachariah? I think he's just trying to incite himself into the drama. That way he doesn't get voted off. I think he knows that as long as he's toxic, the producers are not going to want to send him home, because then once he's gone, there's no one else who's going to really bring in the drama. I don't get that. Ella was really miffed. You could see the way she was talking to Catherine, that she was really upset about it. And I appreciate her for not running to Tyreek, because had she told Tyreek what Mitch did, then it would have created more tension in the villa, and this thing would have ended up blowing out of proportion, because it wasn't Mitch's place to speak. He was just a participant in a game. It's none of his business. He should have just sat this one out. And then so Maddie pulls Whitney aside for a chat and lets her know that he's decided to get to know Leah. I think it's the producers doing. I think it's the producers doing, because the producers like the fact that the guys are passing Leah around like a hot potato for some reason. Maddie has never shown interest in Leah since the day she walked in. So the idea that suddenly he's showing interest in her doesn't make sense. I think it's because Scott has cemented himself with Catherine, so they want someone in the equation with Leah. That way, it's sort of who will Leah pick between Montel and Maddie, which doesn't make sense. And I have to give it to Whitney. You could tell she wanted to cry. She was really upset and she was very distraught, but she was able to sort of compose herself and just say, okay, it is what it is. And she went off to the girls to speak to them. And I don't know why the girls didn't sort of try and shield and sort of bring her into them, because you could tell she was really upset. And I don't know why they didn't pick up on it, that she looked like she was about to cry. And then Maddie, on his part, he knew she was upset because she didn't react the way I think he expected her to react, which sort of shocked him, because then he pulled aside Scott and Tyreek and was sort of telling them. And Tyreek was honest to say, we thought you were in a great place with Whitney. You doing this and you saying she didn't respond could be her turning off you and being completely sort of shutting down from getting to know you and wanting anything to do with you. So you need to be careful in the actions that you take, because by you sort of putting yourself first and saying that you want Leah, you could be breaking things off with Whitney. And if you say you really like Whitney, what are you doing pursuing Leah? That doesn't make sense. And to me, that doesn't make sense. This is why I say this sort of Leah, Maddie, Whitney debacle is producer driven. And I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to say this again. Whatever's going on between Whitney and Maddie is producer driven, because Maddie, even in the bedroom when he was speaking to the guys, he was still saying, I really like Whitney, but I want to get to know Leah. There are things I want to learn about her and stuff. And it's like, what things are you not getting from Whitney? How can you say I really like someone, but I also want to get to know someone? That doesn't make sense. And so Mitch, sadly, he pooped the bad because he told Tyreek that Ella tends to get involved in other people's business and she can be a bit too much. And I like the fact that Tyreek called him out and told him, whatever Ella does is none of your business. Ella is my problem. I'm the one who's sharing a bed with her. I'm the one who's coupled with her. You need to mind your business and leave me to mind my business with my partner, which I have to give credit to Ty for sticking up for that. Whitney, on her part, sort of asked Leah that what's going on? Have you and Maddie been talking? And have I missed something? And Leah was like, "Oh, it's only tonight that he's come to tell me." I think it's the producers. I think it's the producers that have done that. I know Whitney had a conversation with sort of Montel trying to see where they are, but because they had created this friendship, because they both come from London, Montel was saying it's very difficult for him to sort of switch from the friendship mode to suddenly become romantic with her. But I think if he were to recouple and if she was vulnerable, I think he would always recouple with Whitney, regardless of whether or not they have a connection. So I hope he does that to save her. In the morning, they're having a conversation, and sort of Whitney's telling everyone that she's taking steps back because she cannot continue to be vulnerable with Maddie if he is wanting to get to know other people. Yes, they're not closed off, but the fact that she thought he was the safest person in the villa to stick to, and suddenly now things have turned, she doesn't get it. I have to give her credit for that. Leah, on her part, I don't think Leah is interested because of the fact that she said, I have to get to know him if he wants to get to know me. Leah wants to stay in the villa, so Leah will talk to anyone that will keep her in the villa. Even if you tell her talk to the stick and recouple with the stick, she will do that because she just wants to stay in the villa. Scott, on his part, was talking about his kiss with Catherine and the fact that he likes going to the terrace with Catherine because then he can say whatever he wants to say without people staring at them. And Catherine was talking about the kiss, and you could see on Leah's face, she knows that she's missed the boat with Scott. So I think she's now setting her sights on Montel. I don't think she wants to bother with Maddie just because she knows there's already tension. She's already said that I don't want to be in a relationship where there's a lot of tension. She dealt with that with Ella, and I don't think she wants to deal with that anymore. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. After the debrief, Ty goes in for round two. I think he spoke to Ella in bed, and Ella wasn't having it. I think she was very upset when she found out what Mitch was saying. So he went in for round two with Mitch and sort of told Mitch that I think you need to take back your words that Ella has got an agenda against Zach and Molly because at the end of the day, that's not it. That's not true. You're just making assumptions. And Mitch was like, well, they're my friends. So if I feel someone is not being fair to them, I have to speak up. And Ty was right to say, and I give him a lot of credit for saying, so you speak up when it's Zach and Molly. When there are other problems in the villa, you don't speak up. The day before, Sammy was busy saying all those nasty things to the girls, and he kept quiet and was actually participating with Sammy and saying that the boys were not attracted to Whitney and Catherine. And suddenly, because it involves Molly, he's decided to play Professor Saver. And I have to give it to Ty for holding his feet to the fire and making him see and making Mitchell see how stupid he looked in the sense that he's defending a girl who's not in a coupling with him. He's defending a girl who really doesn't like him and is doing everything within her power to stay away from him. So it didn't make sense to me why he would want to defend Molly, given Molly has coupled up with Zach and is happy with Zach and is not likely to come back. And the fact that he refused to take it back and he refused to apologize rubbed me up some type of way. And to think that all the girls he's picked on, they are of a certain color as well. If it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, then it is a duck. That's my opinion. I'm not going to say anything else. And then Molly receives a text message to say she's going on a date with Zach. So they went rollerblading. They really seem to enjoy it. Although Molly's goofy side came out with the little catty noise. And for her to say to Zach, yeah, I know the girls were calling me out for cheating. I want you to know that I wasn't affected by it. I am happy with you. And I feel, and the two of them say, we feel it's brought us stronger. And it's like, what do you feel has brought you stronger? I think Zach has realized that if he wants to stay till the finale, he needs to latch on to Molly. And because of that, he will do and say everything to make sure he remains in her good graces, because he was saying, oh, I wasn't affected. I was just worried that it might affect you. And if you're not affected, then I'm happy. It's made us stronger. And it's like, what's made you stronger? I don't understand this coupling. There is never any substantial conversation. When they talk, it's very superficial. So I don't get what they're attracted to, whether it's just a physical attraction or whether there's actually anything that they're saying that is not being shown by the show that makes them feel that they are a stronger couple. But anyway, I digress. So Mel calls Sammy for a chat, and given she's a bombshell, I'm surprised she's not really shelling. She's just there, and the guys don't really seem that keen on her. I think the only person who's really working very hard is Sammy because he wants to stay in the villa, so he thinks she's his opportunity to stay in the villa. And I think Mitch has decided that he's going to ride the Jess train until he gets her. So they're Jess then goes to Maddie and she's crying. I don't get why she's crying. I can't wait for movie night for her to hear the things that Sammy was saying about her behind her back, because Sammy is not as into her as she seems to be into him. And the things that he was saying, that I was her type, she's not my type, and I was just settling, that didn't sit well with me. So I really hope she doesn't continue to sort of moan and groan and sort of become, very low mood. She's a very bubbly person. I don't know why she's sort of doing this to herself for someone who really doesn't like her. And I don't know why the guys haven't told her, given that they're friends with her, not to. I don't know whether it's production that's told them not to say anything to her, but I wish someone would be honest with her and tell her that Sammy's not it. He's telling everyone with ears to hear that you're not his type, but he's just having to make do. And hopefully she will then focus and sort of work on a connection with Mitch. I think Mitch needs to stay in the villa. Him and this toxic mess. I think it would be very, very dull if he left. And then Zachariah and Molly on their date are talking about meeting each other's parents, and it's like, this is painful to watch. I don't get this couple at all. I really don't, because of all the things that they could have spoken about on their date, they're talking about meeting parents, and it's like, why? So you're already seeing towards the finale when the parents come in and you meet the parents. You're not intent on building your relationship or discussing anything substantial. Is that because of the editing, or is that just from your choosing? And then Whitney calls Maddie for a chat. Oh my god, I feel some type of way. I think the producers are manufacturing the drama between Whitney and Maddie. That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick by it because there's no reason why, out of the blue, Maddie would suddenly want to get to know Leah. We haven't even seen him chat with her on a friendly basis. So for him, out of the blue, to suddenly say, "Oh, I want to chat with Leah," doesn't make sense. And I have to give it to um, Whitney for asking him during their conversation that, how do you take me up to the terrace? How do you say you really like me? And then suddenly you say you want to get to know somebody else. And he said, oh, well, I want to get to know the two of you. I really like you. I like where things are going. So I'm not saying I want to cut us off, but I also want to get to know Leah. And Whitney was like, no, if you're going to get to know Leah, then get to know Leah, because you can't do 50-50. And that's not fair. And he went, oh, I'll give 100. I think if not for the fact that Whitney would need a partner, I think she would have broken up with him, because I think this has really hurt her in the sense that she really trusted him, thought he was someone who stood by his word and someone who she could have a relationship with. And so the idea that he suddenly turned his head and is suddenly looking around at who else is here is something she didn't expect. So I give her credit for letting him know where he stands, that he can't get to know Leah, but she out. She's on the sideline. She's not getting involved. And oh my god, Scott will do anything and say anything to make his girl happy, because he was also speaking up. Yes, it's not fair what Maddie is doing. Blah 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 blah. And I was like, he's saying that because Catherine is there. He wants to impress Catherine. Hopefully, he's not the one who's next to say his head is turned. Maddie then took Leah for a chat, and I think he himself knows that it's not going anywhere. I think he knows it's not going anywhere because Leah doesn't seem interested. Even Scott said that Leah is set on Montal, so he doesn't think that her head will turn for Maddie. And so I don't know, because from his conversation with Leah, it was very dry. It's totally different from his conversations with Whitney, which Whitney was saying that if Leah turns him down, she's going to get the ick and she's going to start questioning why everybody keeps refusing him. Zachariah and Molly come back from their date. They're excited. They're telling everyone they had a great time. They sort of imply that they are now closed off, and it's like, I don't even know what you're closing off from, really, because the two of you, your connection is not really that strong. We barely hear anything. So I don't know. We'll see. So everybody gets ready for the night, and after drinks, they receive a text message to say there's a recoupling. Am I surprised with how it's ended up? Not really. I think it was sort of 75% given that Montel was going to pick Leah, or Leah was going to pick Montel because apparently she really liked him. And I think she liked the idea that he didn't come with baggage, so he didn't have a current partner that she would have to sort of navigate things with. And hopefully they stay together. Um, Sammy was picked by Mal, and he seemed very happy when she picked him because of the way he behaved, and you could see Jess felt some type of way about it because he wasn't sort of like standoffish towards Mal. He seemed to welcome her speech and how she sort of was giddy about him. And then Ella was going to pick Terry. That's a given. And Whitney, sadly, because she knew that everybody else was in a couple, she had to take Maddie back, and she made it known that Maddie had gone rogue, and she was still going to take him back, I think, because she had no other option. Maddie himself was in his feelings when he realized that Montel was picking up Leah, because think he thought Leah would couple up with him. And then Scott was going to go to Catherine. There was no other choice because Leah was gone. Zachariah was going to go with Molly because that's his current partner. And then when Jess picked Mitchell, suddenly Sam is in his feelings and he's upset and he's got, this thunderous face, and it's like, why? You said she wasn't your type. You said she was punching above her weight. What's wrong now? What makes you feel so aggrieved that she's suddenly with somebody else? That don't make no sense. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, it was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. So we'll see what happens tonight. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye everyone.